You know that initial burst of fireworks you feel when you set a massive new goal? It's incredible, right? You feel absolutely unstoppable. But then, fast forward just 3 days later, and you find yourself flat on the ground, totally drained, wondering where on earth all that drive went. Well, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're breaking down exactly why that crash happens. We're going to follow our little stick figure friend here to figure out why relying on that initial spark is a total trap, and more importantly, how to finally break that endless cycle of starting and stopping. So let's just ask the big question. Why does motivation disappear so incredibly fast? Picture our stick figure hero for a second. 1 minute, they are completely fired up, literally sparkling with energy, ready to launch a business or get into the best shape of their life. But then, almost in the blink of an eye, boom, they're sitting flat on the ground, the sparkles are totally gone, and they are completely exhausted. Look, if this incredible, life-changing energy vanishes this fast, how does anyone actually succeed at anything long-term? Okay, to figure this out, we need to redefine what we're actually dealing with here. Try thinking of motivation as a giant glowing flame burning right above your head. Sure, it's powerful, but here's the catch. It is shrinking rapidly. It's exactly like a timer running out. And why? Because motivation is just a feeling. It spikes up when something is shiny and exciting, like buying a new pair of running shoes, but it inevitably fades the very moment the process gets boring, or worse, difficult. You are essentially racing against a shrinking flame. Now, if you're racing against that shrinking flame, what happens when it finally burns out? Imagine standing at the bottom of a really steep staircase, but the steps are only lit up as long as that flame is burning. If you only do the work when you quote unquote feel like it, your progress is going to be wildly unpredictable. As that flame shrinks, the stairs go dark. And honestly, when the stairs go dark, you stop climbing. You just do. This is exactly why most New Year's resolutions are completely dead by February. People don't lack the desire to change, they just run out of light, and they have no idea how to keep climbing in the dark. And that brings us to the ultimate showdown. On one side, you have motivation. It's exciting, it's erratic, and yeah, it's super dramatic. But on the other side, you have consistency. Consistency is just walking at a slow, steady pace down a flat gray road. There is no massive glowing flame here. Instead, it's just a simple, quiet gear turning steadily. It is not flashy at all. In fact, it's kind of boring, but it is unbelievably reliable because it doesn't rely on emotional fireworks. It just relies on sheer mechanics. The beauty of consistency is that it absolutely does not need excitement. It actively strips away that feeling that you need to be perfectly in the mood before you take action. Consistency is literally just showing up, bored, tired, totally uninspired, and doing the work anyway. You might be dragging your feet the whole time, but that little gear, it just keeps turning. When you finally decouple your actions from your fluctuating emotions, you unlock an absolute superpower. You are no longer held hostage by whether or not you feel a spark. And here, right here, is where the real magic happens. We call it the compound effect. It all starts by just showing up for one singular, boring day. Think of it like a tiny, totally unremarkable domino. On its own, it doesn't look like much. But then, you start stacking those actions. One boring day knocks into the next, and eventually that long chain of tiny, mundane actions gathers enough momentum to knock over massive, life-changing results. One day feels like nothing, but stacked over months, that compounding force is absolutely unstoppable. Let's ground this in a real-world example. Think about the gym. You've got the motivated person, right? They only go when they feel completely inspired. If you look at their calendar, it is full of random blank gaps. They go crazy hard for 2 days, and then they completely vanish for a week. But then you have the consistent person. They go regardless of their mood, and their calendar is completely filled in, zero gaps. The harsh truth is that the gym is not actually full of motivated people. It's full of consistent people who just showed up even on the days they really didn't want to. Now, when our consistent stick figure hero finally walks up to a mirror, there's a massive paradigm-shifting twist. They don't just see a reflection of their current, tired self staring back. No, they see a massively stronger, much more capable future version standing right there. And that stronger reflection, it isn't magic. It is constructed entirely from hundreds of tiny bricks, and each one of those bricks is stamped with a date. Every small, uninspired action you take is laying down one of those bricks. You are literally constructing your future self, day by boring day. So let this sink in. Motivation doesn't build your future self. Discipline does. Sure, motivation might draw up the initial blueprint for the house,
but it is never going to actually stack the bricks for you. You just can't build a solid foundation with a shrinking flame. You can only build it with the steady, quiet discipline of showing up and laying down one brick at a time, especially on those days when the sky is gray and you'd much rather just stay in bed. As our hero's journey continues down that plain, gray road, something amazing happens. With every steady step, that road slowly turns vibrant and colorful beneath their feet. The beauty literally comes from the consistency itself. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative thought. The question isn't, how do I stay motivated forever? The real difference maker is this: can you show up tomorrow, even if you absolutely don't feel like it? What is one tiny, boring, unremarkable habit that you are willing to stay consistent with starting today? Answer that, lay down your first brick, and just wait and see what you've built a year from now. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep turning that gear.